Hello, everyone. It's Cassandra Williamson, if you didn't know that already. I'm the Executive Director for Transgender Diverse Veterans of America, and I'm so glad you're here watching with us. We'll take a preview through some of the news topics and headlines and stuff like that, and then kind of hit on to Twitter and take a look at that. And we'll talk about a few other things along the way, okay? Mostly it's just me pontificating about all kinds of different things, just talking about whatever comes to mind. I got an itch on my back. It is hurting. Okay. Anyway, so I just finished up a nice little sausage sandwich. So feeling good. This weekend, I do get to leave. I have the honor to fly out Sunday and arrive in DC around 1:30 Eastern time. And I'll be there through around noon-ish or so on Wednesday, the 22nd. So looking forward to being in DC, going up there for the Veterans Affairs. The Center for Minority Veterans is doing a Transgender Day of Remembrance event. And the Honorable Sean Skelly will be there, the acting Deputy Undersecretary for Personnel and Readiness. So I'll be there for that. Have an opportunity, hopefully, to get to speak with Ms. Skelly. So that would be awesome. But also just hang out in here. We are going live. We are live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and you name it, including on our website and LinkedIn, and we're all over the place. So you can check us out over there. You can find us on all those different pages, and I hope you do. Go take a moment to go check it out. So this is the last, Transgender Awareness Week ends the 19th, Sunday. But I did put together a little thing. It's really fast and really quick. So let me just show that really quickly, commemorating this day, and it's this week, okay? So I'd like to put that thing out there. It'll be popping up ever so often throughout the show, and I'll just stop and it'll give me a chance to get a drink. That's really one of the bigger things too, is I put these different things out there. Like, for instance, the two different intros that I've been talking about all week long. Here's one of them. That's one of them right there, and here's the other one. They're two different ones, and I use So yeah, I'm trying to move my camera away from all the reflections over here. I think I'm getting it closer. I may have to move my camera all the way over to here. Because I'm trying to get the reflection out of my eyes that comes through off of my glasses. I've got another pair of glasses, but and they've got that anti-reflection glare stuff on there, anti-glare stuff, and they work pretty well. But I like these glasses better. Anyway, so yeah, it's been an interesting week this week. We've had a lot of stuff going on, right? Everybody, you missed if you didn't come out to our leadership meeting. Wednesday night. It was at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's on the third Wednesday of every month. The third Wednesday of every month. We also have our general leadership meeting every month, once a month, on the third Thursday of the month. And also our TDVA Action Board has a meeting on the third Monday. I think it's third Monday. Is it the third Monday? Yeah, the third Monday of every month. We're supposed to have one next week on this coming Monday evening, but given that it is TDOR, we're likely going to just go ahead and cancel that for this month, and we'll get back together maybe in December. It depends. I think that might be the week of Christmas. I'm not sure if we'll ought to do it then, should we? But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll work around it and try to find a time that is actually convenient for everyone to meet. So let's go take a look into the news. Are you ready? Let's go do this. Let me present the news stories right here. I will start over on, where is it? Okay. Should be that one. All right. Go here. There it is. Okay. Finally popped up on the screen. Okay. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time looking over here on this. This is the first one I saw this morning. It's actually, it's published yesterday, 16 hours ago, by Caitlin Lewis with the Newsweek. And I get all my news kind of, the algorithm doesn't know what to do with me out here because I've got all this stuff that comes in on transgender issues and LGBTQ plus issues and liberal side of things. And I, as well as I spend a lot of time over on the right side, just making, the conservative side, just making sure I'm aware of what they're talking about and what's being said. So the algorithm just might as well just step aside and just send all the news to me, so I'll filter it out myself. So Matt Gaetz accuses NSA of targeting white people. Matt Gaetz, can y'all vote him out from down in Florida? Can y'all get rid of this person from down in Florida? Because that man is just an idiot. Can I just say that? That man is an idiot, folks. How the hell he's still a representative from down there in Florida? Well, it is Florida. I get that. But there's somebody else who lives in Florida I'd love to send back home too. That would be Senator Tuberville of Alabama. Yeah, he lives in Florida. He's got a mansion down there in Florida somewhere. He has a mailing address in Alabama. Come on. The affable old coach from Auburn University. Yeah, well, okay then. You can go back home to Florida there, coach. Anyway, this stuff is just craziness. This is just craziness. Okay, let me drop that one out of the way. House Ethics Chairman introduces resolution to expel George Santos from Congress. I'm glad they're doing that. That man, he ranks right up there with prevarication, with Trump. Everything he says is a lie, it seems to me like. Santos and Trump. Okay, just so you know. And by the way, I am speaking from our activist side. And before I go into reading any more of the news headlines, I need to go ahead and just do that really quickly. Kind of get this back up here so everybody knows where I'm coming from. I'll go up here and get a banner. I'm going to run this across the bottom. And all the opinions expressed on this show are mine and mine alone. They do not belong to or are they necessarily approved by or supported by any particular organization, agency, or department anywhere in the country. Anywhere. They're mine. They're my opinions. Okay? If you don't like them, go find somebody else to watch. And also, if you are under the age of 18, leave this show now. We do not want you here. Okay? Go find someplace else to hang out. So let me get back into the news, okay? We're going to go back to the news stories, folks. Yeah, we're going to go back to the news stories. Here we go. Well, no, let me do one thing really quickly. I got to do this before I get out of that. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay, that gave me a chance to sip some of my drink over here on the side. All right, are you ready? Are you ready? So let's go back to presenting the news again. And we'll go there and press that button and press that the share button. And let me see, this one is Supreme Court denies request to reinstate Florida drag show law. But that the headline is not accurate. They denied the request to hear that case pending the processes of going through the court system. It may be a minor win, but it still hasn't been addressed by the Supreme Court. They denied the request to deal with it now rather than waiting for it to go through the court system to get to them again. Ever how long that takes. But no, it's not a blanket denial, okay? Just so you know, you got to be careful about these things. David Kahara from Politico, the statement is misleading. That's not the complete story about what that is actually about, folks. Okay. Okay, transgender athletes success sparks debate on fairness in sports. Oh, Valadez from Career Step Up. I don't know who you are, what group. You got 11,687 followers. I'm not following them. So, yeah, it's been sparking a debate in sports for a long time, fairness in sports. And I do have something to say about this, and you may not like it. You may not like it at all, and that's fine. You're entitled to that opinion. This is my opinion. And I will say this. If you went through puberty as the gender that you're seeking to participate as a sport in other words, your gender matches that pubertal process that you went through, fine. But if you went through puberty and that process in puberty was, let's say, male, and then you're wanting to play on the female sports teams, well, then you probably shouldn't. And why? And obviously, there's a lot of gray in this. But the reason why is because your body does go through some changes. Now, it's not going to impact people at the less than professional level. Okay, not that much. But we're seeing an awful lot of this out here that's being pointed out right now. But it's all coming from the right. It's not a big pandemic kind of issue, but the right's making a big deal out of it. So, but I happen to think, though, that if you went through that male puberty process, your body has a slight physical advantage over the women, statistically speaking. And if you train in one sport, and you spent your time training in that, and then you go jump over into the other one, it's fine that you have a different gender identity than that which you went through puberty as. That's fine. Fully supportive of that, of everyone and anyone deciding to do that or going down that route, if they so choose to do so, to align with the gender and the anatomical sex may not match, or the gender and the biological or the genetic sex may not align or match. Fine, I'm good with that. But you need to be aware that, and I know you know this, is that if you went through male puberty, then you acclimated into, and you, physically want to play in a sport. You want to play in a sport that requires, that is sex segregated, then you don't need to be there. Because there is a slight advantage on that side. It's not always the case, but the advantage is statistical and enough to be able to, actually, you can't rule it out. And the same thing goes with if you went through female puberty and you want to go into a male sport. Obviously, that's going to be a different thing as well. So you're going to be at a slight disadvantage, but not at a complete disadvantage, because hormones and stuff like that will change your anatomical characteristics. To put it bluntly, I guess it will change those things, and that's fine. But you need to be thinking about these things from that perspective, and don't be so self-centered about it that you're going to push your way through to do it because you're allowed to do it, but you know darn well that's going to bring a lot of light and harm to the rest of the community at large. You've got to start thinking about the bigger picture here, folks. You really have to. You really got to start thinking about the bigger picture, and how a single action, a single thing, can impact the entire community and bring a lot of harmful attacks on the community simply because one person decided that, hey, I'm allowed to do that. I'm going to do it. Or I want to challenge it. I want to go ahead and do it anyway. And then they get in the spotlight, and it turns out that they did it for themselves. And that's fine to do that, but you're hurting the rest of us. When you do it, you actually hurt the rest of us too. And you need to be aware of those things. And right now, that is not happening too much out here from what I'm seeing. People are just going out here, and we're seeing all of this occur on, anyway, you got the point. Let me change the topic here to something else. All right, 1,000-sign petition against Macy's non-binary extravaganza. Jordan Andrews, State of the Union, 9,778 followers. I'm not following. But this thing, obviously, it was started by 1 million moms, and I became aware of it through a friend in New York who was appalled by this as well. But it was on a radio show where Alliance Defending Freedom was talking about it and supported the 1 million moms in this protest, a signature protest petition drive to get Macy's to take out a float in their parade that they're planning for next week on Thanksgiving Day. That features transgender people and gender non-conforming people, and non-binary people, transgender people, whatever. But 1 million moms and Alliance Defending Freedom made a big deal out of this, and it's still taking up the headlines right over here and these different news stories we're seeing. And it's going to all the way up to next week, probably. But, why on earth do they think that it's right to trade one form of oppression for another? I mean, they may think that this is oppressing their rights or a challenge to their right to live freely in society that they think should be opposed to all these things. But you want to strip away the rights of other people to live as they want to recognize them. You can't do that. That's hypocrisy on steroids, folks. It's got to stop. You have to start thinking like that. Really do. If somebody's calling me, they'll just have to wait. They know I'm in a show, right? Let's see. That's the Project 2025 mandate for leadership. We'll get back to that a little bit later. Let's go back over to the main part of the show, see if there's any comments or anyone watching. No, not that I'm aware of. They can be watching over on the Facebook page or somewhere else. LinkedIn, I think, doesn't show up on this. Let me check to make sure. Yeah, LinkedIn does not show up on this list, but everything else does. Anyway, so let's go up to Twitter and take a look there. Are you ready? This is the fun place. Twitter is the fun place because, it's just fun. Twitter. Here we go. All right. There's the first one. Elon Musk shaking the hand of Xi Jinping of China, the premier of China. So there we go. I don't know what they're staring each other down for. It's kind of like it's a picture thing. But yeah, anyway, it's a picture thing. Let's see if there's any other news out here. Okay, there's 105 posts above this. Oh, here we go. My favorite one to go after. And that none of them have responded back to any kind of my poking and shouting at them. No. 83% of registered voters support age verification mandate for porn sites. Well, so do I. So do I. As far as I know, they do, but I don't know. That's as far as I know. If they don't, they should. I'm fine with that. Protect kids from online porn at the federal level. Will the candidate? Okay, so look, any of these potential candidates right here, whoever's left in the running at the end of all of it, well, they've already been made aware of Project 2025, and Project 2025 does talk about porn, but it talks about it in relation to, it conflates being transgender with also being interested in porn, which is absolutely ludicrous, literally. That's just a dog whistle thing that they use all the time with any group that they don't like. Every time. In the 40s, whenever they was talking about integration, late 40s, whenever they're talking about the integration of African Americans into the military and doing away with the segregated troops, big push then against, letting these black people mingle with the white people. And then it became, and then they're talking about desegregation afterwards. They were starting to talk about, we don't want our children and our women to be around all of that. They don't need to be associated with all those over-sexualized black people, right? And it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Jeez. Then they switched to gay people, the Lavender Scare. Then they switched over to, more gay people in the 60s and late 70s. And then it was HIV AIDS. Anybody with HIV AIDS, obviously, it was all conflated with every darn thing else out there. And then now it's trans people because, you can just keep punching down. Yeah, they hope it will stick. But obviously it does work because, they're still sticking with it after, 70 years. Anyway, 60 or 70 years. Jeez. My gosh. Anyway, let's go on down. Christine lives at TikTok. Okay, let me see. Okay. Trump love for the damn COVID poison vaccines are one big reason I will not vote for Trump. But yeah. Okay. So every day, I don't know about all that. David leaning left. Do you consider Monster Liberty a hate group? Yeah, kind of. But, They're entitled to their views. Time for you protesters to head to Gaza. Leave us alone and go make social justice difference elsewhere. Gunther. Okay. And I don't understand how anyone who would be in the queer community would be out here supporting Hamas. Palestine, sure, I get that. Pro-Palestine, sure, but Palestinian people aren't necessarily the same as the terrorist group Hamas, just to be clear about that. But they would absolutely, Hamas and any of the terrorist extremists over there, and here for that matter, they would kill you. Okay, preparing to launch on Saturday. Oh, that's going to be fun. I'll watch that. Okay, Biden America, where our soldiers are now holding China flags. Why? Where? Why? Okay, well, that's what happens. You all grow up, grow the fuck up. Come on. That's what happens. You show respect to the leader who comes into your country, and you play their national anthem, you fly their little flags and all that kind of stuff. That's what you do. It's just decorum, okay? Political decorum, national, international, whatever. It's decorum. You do that. It should make them feel welcome here. And fine. No problem. Okay, Matt Walsh. Aside from the general anti-white racism, Matt, shut the F up. Come on. And the other troubling thing is that these high school debate champions have apparently learned nothing about world history. They blame white Christians for justifying slavery, when in fact white Christians were the ones who first abolished slavery, and the rest of the world had to be dragged into abolition kicking and screaming. Okay, well, Matt, you obviously didn't grow up in the South. You obviously did not grow up in the South. You have a very narrow way of talking about it. And obviously I know what you're doing. This is just, more of your, you call it what you want. You know what it is. I think you call yourself. Let me just go check and see what Matt calls himself these days. Oh, theocratic fascist still. Best-selling children's author. Okay. Blue state decriminalizes all drugs. Let me see. People keep calling it a gay nutcracker, but it's actually a trans nutcracker, which is very on the nose. What? Okay. Aside from that, okay. I passed down their genes, leaving a trail of super attractive offspring in their wake. Okay. Jeez. Oh my God. This is, of course, just a flat out lie. Okay. A city in Tennessee has banned being gay in public. This is just the beginning. 20 hours ago. Let me go see what they're talking about. We have to call this out. Okay. I don't know the story. Don't know that story at all. You opposed to fame's gay people by conflating them with child predators. What's this all about? Okay. Anyway, not going there. I don't see anything else out here on this page either. Let me see if I have something to share over on the other page. We've got one more page to go look at. Let's go see. Oh, tab. This one. That's where I am now. Anything over there? No. Chrome tab. Nope, nothing there. Let me see what's over on this page. Anything of interest? Opinion. Okay. All right. Let me go over here to this page. I have to go find all the different places where I've got stuff hidden. All right. Chrome, window. Let's just start right there. Okay, so I'm sharing this page now. This is from another one of the website links I've got here. This is from the Kyiv Post, Ukraine's global voice. All right. Opinion, Russia's weaponization of anti-Semitism. Okay. So obviously we know that's the case. They've been anti-Semitic forever. It actually started a long freaking time ago. Let me see. Let me see if they even talk about it down through here. Okay, go on back down. The irony is, okay. So the irony, of course, is that Russia has long been a bastion of anti-Semitism. The Russian intelligence service's use of anti-Semitism dates back centuries, from Catherine the Great's 1791 order to keep Jews on the Pale settlements, to a century later spreading the fictional protocols of the Elders of Zion. Vladimir Lenin in 1914 acknowledged that no other nationality in Russia is so oppressed and so persecuted as the Jews. However, the victory of Lenin's communism over Tsarist rule led to a new chapter of hardships for the then Soviet Jewry. The Soviet KGB actively worked on measures to prevent refusniki, Soviet Jews seeking to immigrate to Israel, from leaving the Soviet Union, keep an eye on the enforcement of the quota used to prevent Jews from studying at institutions of higher education. That goes deep into all these cultures. It goes deep here in the United States, too. It actually goes deep in Europe as well, and you know that, right? Right? You know that? Hitler? Think about Hitler? Really? Yeah, think about that. All right, let's go see what the next topic is. Oh, now we know. Okay, this is the Hartman Report. And let me see, the Hartman Report by Tom Hartman. Came out this morning. And let's see. You need to read this one, folks. And Tom actually nails this thing. And MSNBC actually did something. It was Joe Scarborough talking about it, actually compared Trump and his followers to Hitler and his brown shirts on national television. They're here. At the same time, America's richest man is retweeting anti-Semitism. Right-wing influencers and TV hosts are blaming Jews and liberals for the invasion of illegals to replace white people. You know, the great replacement theory thing, crap that's over on the right. Okay, and the entire GOP is embracing candidates and legislators who encourage hate and call for violence. And this is a really interesting thing, because I was reading it to see if it would actually mention this Project 2025. And okay, so there are parallels between MAGA takeover of the GOP and the Nazi takeover of the German right in the 30s. And absolutely there are. Absolutely there are. You can just read right down through here. It talks about everything, about all those correlations between them and why it's so similar. Pointed out the damage to 40 years of neoliberalism. Okay, make Germany great, then make America great. That's tired when we know that connection has been made for quite some time. Trump scapegoats blacks, Muslims, immigrants, and liberals. You're going to root out the communists, and the vermin. And Hitler used that term as well as Hitler. And then Hitler obviously had the lying press, Lügenpresse, and a quote from Stalin calling our news agencies and reporters the enemy of the people. So, yeah, okay. So, it's there. All the references are there, folks. You don't believe it? You need to get your freaking head out of the dirt. Okay. Both Hitler and Trump had an inciting incident. Let's go on down. I'm not going to read all that, that. Opposed the Equality Act, saying it would undermine parental and conscience rights. More than 63% of judicial nominees had previously expressed bias and bigotry towards queer people. His administration filed briefs in the landmark Bostock case, claiming that civil rights laws do not protect LGBTQ plus people. And we see the same kind of crap over in Project 2025 from the Heritage Foundation. And then we'll go right on down through here. Let's see. Oh, by the way, one of the first groups of people that the Nazis did attack, Hitler did attack, guess who they were? Gays and trans people in Germany. And the institute that studied those people there in Germany at the time. And I've learned a little bit about this now, and I've got a long way to learn. There's a lot of stuff that happens over there. But anyway, the year before Nazis began attacking union leaders and socialists, a full 5 years before attacking Jewish-owned stores on Kristallnacht, the Nazis came for the trans people at the Institute for Sexual Research in Berlin. And this was in 1930. The Institute had pioneered the first gender-affirming surgery in modern Europe. 1930, folks. Mangus Hirschfeld, its director was Mangus Hirschfeld, had compiled the largest library of books and scientific papers on the LGBTQ plus spectrum in the world, and was internationally recognized in the field of sexual and gender studies. And all of y'all think this splitting between sex and gender just started recently? Y'all are woefully uninformed. Being gay, lesbian, or trans was widely tolerated in Germany, at least in its big cities, when Hitler came to power January 30th, 1933. And the German queer community was his first explicit target. Within weeks, the Nazis began a campaign to demonize queer people, with especially vitriolic attacks on trans people across German media. Sound familiar? All right. So German states put into law bans on gender-affirming care, drag shows, and any sort of public display of deviance, enforcing a long moribund, that's it, I'll get it out. German law, paragraph 175, first put in the nation's penal code in 1871 that outlawed homosexuality. But look, Heritage Foundation is doing the same freaking crap. The right's doing the same freaking crap now. They're trying to do this same playbook. It's been done before, folks. And when people get mad at me for equating what Kevin Roberts is doing at the Heritage Foundation, what Trump is doing with Hitler, and people, I'm going to tell you, the parallels are just too strong to ignore. Especially when you have somebody who quotes Mein Kampf, Marx. All right. And Hitler and all that. I mean, really. All right. So, okay, now look. German states put into law, okay. Books and magazines selling stories of gay men and lesbians were removed from schools and libraries. Thus, a mere 5 months after Hitler came to power, Nazis showed up at the Institute and hauled over 20,000 books and manuscripts about gender and sexuality out into the streets to burn, creating a massive bonfire. It was the first major Nazi book burning and was celebrated with newsreels played in theaters across the nation. It wouldn't be the last. Soon it spread to the libraries and public high schools. Conservative elite of Germany were early supporters of Hitler as he promised to crush the German labor movement and cut their taxes. Okay, no, yeah, right, yeah. Same thing, same playbook, same crap. Okay, let's go on down. Insurrection Act, Hitler declared a state of emergency during all this stuff. Article 48, which during a time of crisis empowered the nation's leaders to suspend due process and habeas corpus, turned the army's guns on people deemed insurrectionists and people without charge, and arrest people without charges or trial. Okay. And the Insurrection Act would definitely give the next president, if that person's conservative, the power to be able to go out and do all kinds of crap, folks. Okay. Trump has used the theoretical unitary executive powers theory that's out there. We've heard about that from several people now on different types of shows, and it's there. They think the president has the authority to do whatever they want to do. And they think that's in the Constitution for them to do that. And really it's not. But that's one of the theories that began back in the 80s with Reagan. All right, let me see. Also they do talk about down through here, Project 2025 and Alabama Political Reporter. These are the people who were there at this meeting about the insurrection. Tommy Tuberville was there. He was in this meeting. These were the attendees. Among the attendees, according to Herbster's Post, were Tuberville, Adam Piper, Donald Jr., Eric Trump, Trump's former National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn, Peter Navarro, Corey Lewandowski, and David Busey. All those people were at this discussion about a coup. Okay. Right. So Tuberville is just playing right along with Trump's plans and the Heritage plans. That's why you have the Heritage Foundation supporting Tuberville. That's why you have the Heritage Foundation not explicitly supporting Trump, but all of his people, not all, but a lot of his people, a lot of Trump's people are working at the Heritage Foundation now. And they're the ones who helped build Project 2025, folks. Right? Okay, it goes right on down through this thing. And let me see, in the final years of the Third Reich, Hitler authorized his final solution. These were different from the hundreds of prison concentration camps he had built within Germany because they were extrajudicial. They were outside of the territory of Germany. So he did it outside of Germany so he wouldn't be accountable for it inside the state. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. All right. So there are a few Americans alive today. Okay. So it talks about the Heritage Foundation, Project 2025 through this thing, but you need to read it. You need to read Project 2025, and you need to start digging into what fascism actually is. There's all kinds of ways to go look it up. Just go start looking and digging and studying and thinking about this and start looking at those correlations. But know that these kind of tactics happen on both sides of the political spectrum. That happens all over the place, folks. It's not just one side. The sides plot a restoration of power, and they'll do it at the cost of whomever gets in their way, or they can make it easy targets. And today, right now, in this time and space, it happens to be transgender people and LGBT people, minorities, all the minorities, really. Because if you read Project 2025, you'll find out really quickly that they don't think these things should be part of any lexicon within the federal government, like gender, sexuality, reproductive rights, abortion, all those terms. They want to remove them from the whole federal government, and they're going to do it if they get in power. If we let them do this. Now, here's something that came out of a meeting last night, and I've said this before, but I want to make it very clear. And I do respect what Lisa had to say whenever she said that from down in El Paso. It's flyover country that's going to dictate who gets in the White House. It's flyover country. Let me say it again. It's flyover country that will determine who becomes the president. It doesn't matter if the entire East Coast and the entire West Coast votes in such overwhelming numbers, 10 million more, or whatever, 20 million more. If the middle of the country goes for a conservative, then the Electoral College will hand the vote to the person with the highest votes from the Electoral College. And the purpose for that was to make sure that minorities, and what they were talking about then was, back when it was actually written, was actually the number of people living in that state, population-wise. That's what they meant by minority then. And so it's a little bit different than what it is today. So a lot different, really. But it's the middle of the country that's going to decide who becomes the next president. And if we don't do a lot of work in the middle of the country to show people that, one, trans people are real and all that kind of stuff, then, they'll take it. And we got to fight, folks. We got to stand up and fight and get your head out of your behind, because this is not a joke. All right, let me go back over to the other page where I can see where you are, and no comments or anything to deal with. But I'm going to go ahead and play this one. And we'll close out with that one too in just a little bit. I think I've got everything covered I need to talk about today. Let me see if I have anything mail-wise. Okay, nothing on that one. Let me go check one other place. Let's see if we have any mail to deal with on this one. Miller, Black Friday. Take a look here and get back to me, Joanne. Okay. All right. Okay. So, I did read. There's a little story I just want to talk about. Joanne Michaels from out in right near the Mather VA Center in California, San Francisco. So Joanne sent me a note this morning. It says Denny Ingram was at Sierra College in Rockland, California. That she got to meet with him. It was and was great. Said he knew who I am, and Danny and I know each other for quite a while now, really. And then, he was. Let me see. Danny was given an award. He was giving an award. Okay. To Colonel Pat Thompson and his wife Barb, as well as the producers of Surviving the Silence. Okay. Pat was the colonel who was directed to head the court-martial of Greta Kammermeyer. Another great story. Yeah. Stay well. Okay. Well, Joanne, thank you so much. Anyway, so I'm going to get off of that. I don't think I have anything else to really talk about at this point. Well, there are things I could talk about. There's a lot of things I could talk about. So with that, I did want to close out with this. This is one last day that we'll be doing this broadcast, except this evening. Come back this evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll cover more news, more stories, more opinions by me. And with that, I'm going to close it out with this.